All right, everyone, here it is. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with Orcastraw on the Wii U any percent. Orcastraw, welcome to the stream. It is a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
How do you feel about your run so far?
Good, I'm excited.
Perfect. Everyone, who's hyped for Breath of the Wild? I'd like to point out that we went past the $500 mark for Child's Play over the weekend so far, and our goal is a bit farther than that, but I believe we can make it to 1,000 before the end of the day. As always, you can donate on our stream page, twitch.tv/NoReset Marathon. There's a donate button right underneath the stream, and every single donation goes 100% to the foundation. We don't touch a single cent, so every single penny is actually doing good for kids stuck in hospitals. So thanks to anyone who's donated. Thanks to anyone who's going to donate. Every donation is appreciated. Now, without further ado, I'm just going to give it up to Orcastraw, and good luck on your run.
Thank you. All right, I'm ready to count down then. What? Okay. So I'm ready to go. I can do a countdown. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So this is The Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild. The first thing you're going to notice is that this text right here is a little different. It's not English. This is German. So speedruns of this game are most commonly run in German because it's the fastest language for sort of two reasons. Basically, the Shrine of Resurrection cutscenes that we're about to see right now, those cutscenes, their length is derived from how long the voice lines talk. And so you have like German Zelda who speaks in German, you have English Zelda who speaks in English. And of all the different Zelda voice actresses, German Zelda speaks the fastest. So for that reason solely alone, we're going to be using German for this whole run. So the text, the voices, everything you see on screen will be in German. We're going to start off with a couple of cutscenes. So while we're here waiting, I'd like to introduce my couch. Say hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'm dealing with horrible sickness right now. So my name is Jennifer Ray, and I'm just here on the couch along with a bunch of fellow plushies right here as well. So,
Very
I'm
good.
just tagging along. I don't speedrun, I play games, but I'm just here tagging along, being dorked.
Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is get this item, the Sheikah Slate. Basically, to start out, we're going to go through a couple of cutscenes. The beginning of the game puts you on the Great Plateau, and our goal for the Great Plateau is to basically get the paraglider. Once we get the paraglider, we can go and complete the game and do all the final boss fights. But for now, we're confined to the Great Plateau. So for the plateau, you can't leave until you've completed the 4 shrines on it. The shrines that give you the Magnesis, Cryonis, Bombs, and Stasis runes. And if you try and exit the plateau before you get those runes, then the game will warp you back. So a couple of precautions that the game puts in place to make sure you don't leave the plateau. First and foremost, there's a cloudy void floor surrounding the Great Plateau. And so if you fall into those clouds, then the game will basically place you back on the Great Plateau. And then there's also a persistent check where your coordinates are always being checked whether they are basically on the Great Plateau or off the Great Plateau. Where on the Great Plateau basically means anywhere within a certain radius of the plateau. And so if you're off the plateau in any manner, then the game places you back. So for those reasons, we are confined to the plateau. No matter how much glitching or cool tricks we do, we're stuck here. So we're going to be doing those shrines to get off the plateau as fast as possible. You're going to see Link has his hands to his mouth right now. That's a trick called whistle sprinting. And so basically, whistle sprinting is a trick that allows you to run at almost max speed while not losing any stamina. Link in this game has a green stamina bar, a circle surrounding him, and a stamina bar is depleted when you run or climb walls very fast. And so we can basically circumvent the sort of issue of our stamina depleting by never depleting it while we're running. And so we can basically always run at a pretty fast speed. How this trick works is you hold down the whistle button and then you basically repeatedly press the run button over and over, and it initializes a run every time you press the B button. And so the initial acceleration frames of the run starting are the same, like almost the max same speed as sprinting. So even though we're not actually like fully sprinting, we can get a pretty good speed. It's only a little bit slower than regular sprinting basically. So we're gonna go to that tree. I just got a beetle and a mushroom. you might not be able to tell exactly what we're getting because it's in German. But yeah, that's a beetle and a mushroom. The mushroom is going to be used for healing because there's going to be certain spots of the game where we're going to be required to take damage. And the beetle is for a potion we're going to make later. That beetle I got was a bladed rhino beetle, and it basically can be used in potions that increase your attack power, which is very important because we're going to be doing tons of combat later on. True to a typical speedrun, we don't actually do too much combat with like regular enemies you see on the ground, like that blue chew jelly over there. But we're gonna do lots of boss fights with boss fights with bosses, and so for that reason, an attack potion is gonna be very useful. But we're gonna cook that way later. For now, we're getting some cutscenes with Zelda, basically telling us to go to the tower, and there's this tree up here. We're gonna jump into it and get some apples. So there's tons of healing food available to us on the Great Plateau, and again, we need to grab some of them because we're going to be taking damage later. And this apple, we basically get this apple because later on in the run we're required to get apples, so that's why I choose apples here. Here's some arrows. There's a couple arrows scattered around here because some archers basically placed them there. Speaking of archers, we're going to attack this archer and get his bow. If you've seen Speedruns of Breath of the Wild before, you might not recognize this trick. The strategy is only a week or two old. We're also going to... Ooh, 1 second. Let's try this. I need to get his shield. Okay. And then I also need to defeat this enemy for arrows. There we go, I got a headshot. So this enemy has a really high chance of dropping arrows, which are really useful. Arrows are going to be used for traversing the land very fast and for killing enemies very fast. I also got a headshot on the enemy, which helped me kill him way faster. How headshots work is on archers, headshots will always kill them in one hit, and on every other enemy, it will always do double damage. So this bow I have is a pretty weak bow. I think it has like 3 or 4 attack points, and so a headshot just does times 2, so 6 or 8. So right now we're having the tower raised. This is basically a series of cutscenes that allows us to enter the shrines. Before we do this sequence of entering the tower and raising the tower, we actually can't enter any shrines. So for that reason, we're here.
Time for a donation?
Yes.
All right, we have $50 from Midori Sapling
Ooh, awesome.
saying good luck on the run. And also a $2 donation from Em and Daddy.
Alright, so now that we're done with these tower cutscenes, we have to jump off the tower. We could just climb down like we're supposed to, or we could just jump straight off and do this. Oh, what? Wait. Okay, well that wasn't what I was trying to do. That was a glitch. Basically, by initiating a throw and then unequipping your item right before you can basically negate fall damage, which is very useful. It's not used too often because later on in the game, once you have the paraglider also allows you to negate fall damage. But for now, we're going to be using that trick a little bit. It looks very cool. I'm a little worried. I dropped my axe by throwing it. Depending on where that axe lands, I might actually just not have it anymore. We'll see where it lands. You don't actually want to throw the axe to do that glitch, but having some glitchy inputs. Doing speedruns like this in a big area like DreamHack can be difficult because there's lots of wireless devices, and using a gamepad is not too smart in a heavily congested wireless environment. Where's my axe? My axe is at the bottom of the water. Let me reload the file. This file should be correct. I need that axe to do some tricks later on. Any like sort of two-handed weapon where Link spins around when he spins would be a good substitute, but the axe specifically I need to cut down trees. Alright, I have the axe still. There we go. So we're just going to go through this dialogue again now that I have the axe. But this dialogue, it's not too difficult. For text in this game, to do it fast, you basically just want to mash the A and B buttons as fast as possible. Some text options that you choose are a little slower than others. For this text here, we're going to do the top option for every text box except this one, which we're going to do down. And with that, we're about done with this dialogue. For the second time. I apologize. So now that we are off the tower, we survived our great jump. We're going to go to the shrines. As mentioned, raising this tower right here gives us access to the shrines. And so we have to go to the Magnesis Shrine, Bomb Shrine, Cryonis Shrine, and the Stasis Shrine. So the Magnesis Shrine is the first one we're going to go to. The Bombs and Magnesis Shrine are both pretty close to the tower. Going to Magnesis first is good. We're actually going to end up going to the Bomb Shrine last, so that will come later. And the whistle sprinting trick that I mentioned earlier comes in very handy here. As you see, my stamina is going to run out almost, and then I'm going to fill it back up again. And it's very, very useful. So all four of the shrines in the plateau basically give you access to a rune and then sort of give you a small puzzle guiding you through using it for the first time. In Breath of the Wild, runes are basically the items that the game gives to you. In other Zelda games, you have items like the boomerang, and the bombs, and the hookshot. And in this game, they're basically replaced with these 4 runes. And so they have a lot of condensed appeal. Instead of having a hookshot where you use in like 2 specific places, and just having these sort of like really niche items, they basically, the developers tried to find items that get the most bang for the buck. So these are items that just are very versatile and very useful. So this is Magnesis. It allows us to grab any magnetic object and control it, moving it in the air, left and right, up and down. And so once we get this rune, we're going to clear this text box, and then pull it up, and go through. These shrines are pretty simple. Like I said, they're basically just sort of teaching you how to use these items for the first time. This guy might try and hurt me. Okay, good. That enemy is basically random. Oh, this is a shield jump. So what I just did, I initiated a jump with my shield in midair, which is a mechanic in this game, and then I unequipped the shield. Basically, there's a thing in this game called shield surfing, where you can use your shield and ride on it and go down hills and mountains. And you can initiate that shield surf in midair. We call it a shield jump. And it basically acts like a sort of a double jump, as you can use it to cross gaps, and it's very useful. And so here, we have a cutscene. If you look in the bottom right, there's an X icon with text. We can actually skip this cutscene by pressing X, but we're going to wait until this text from the monk is off, and then we're going to press X. And if I were to skip that cutscene immediately, then I would have this loading screen be a little longer than it is now. So for that reason, we watch a little bit of the cutscene and wait for the text to fade away. So now we have the Magnesis rune, we're going to move on to get the Cryonis rune. That requires us to go through a little bit of the tundra over there. And it's going to be a little tricky. The tundra area, basically this game has environmental effects where if you're in a really hot area, you take damage from being too hot, and if you're in a really cold area, you take damage from being really cold. And how those effects work is that basically every 10 seconds, Link takes a quarter heart of damage, or half a heart rather. And so, since I only have 3 hearts, I basically have to heal after being in that area for minutes. So we're going to make our way over there. At the start of the game gives you a warp point to the Throne of Resurrection, which is where you spawn at the very start of the game. And so we can warp back there because it's a little closer to the Cryonis Shrine than where we are right now. Alright, so this area should look familiar. We were here just a couple moments ago. So we're again going to be sprinting and maintaining that stamina. Alright, if I climb on that wall at a specific angle, I can climb the wall without using any stamina, which is nice. Here's some mushrooms. So now we have 4 mushrooms and 2 apples. about 3 hearts of healing. I'm gonna want a little more, but that's mostly as much healing as we're gonna need. Link's gonna get hit a lot throughout this run, but we're only gonna use those couple shrooms and apples to make our way through. So as mentioned, this is the shield surfing technique. It's a little tricky to input, but if you get it right, then you can travel at pretty high speeds going through these snowy areas. And then we can do a shield jump again to just go right over that gap. There's a puzzle you're supposed to do there with the Magnesis rune, where you take these little big magnetic slabs and push them together to make a bridge. But the gap that the bridge basically covers is so small that you can just traverse it with a shield jump. So as mentioned, every 10 seconds I'm taking environmental damage. And so I'm going to need to heal 1 heart, half hearts. Here we go. And I'm going to be doing some shield jumps to traverse this terrain a little faster. As expected, Link is a little slower going up terrain than when he's going across flat terrain or down terrain. So by doing the shield jump, it lets us go across the ground a little faster than it would be if we just ran. So like that, we are all the way to the Cryonis Shrine. This shrine is a cool trick we can use with the rune and the shield we have to basically skip a large chunk of it. The shrine is pretty short, as are all of the plateau shrines, but we can still skip part of it. So the Cryonis rune, for those of you that don't know, basically lets us make ice platforms out of water. It's kind of like niche. It's not too useful, but it's good enough. I know I said they're all like, there aren't any niche items. This is like the one item where it's like kind of iffy. Anyways, as mentioned, use those ice platforms. Now, when those ice platforms are created, they rise out of the ground, which creates momentum. If we can ride, and by riding that momentum, ooh, almost. Okay, so by riding that momentum, you can just shield onto the platform as it's raising, and do huge jumps to take you up to here. That trick is pretty precise though, so it's not something that you always get all the time. But it looks cool when you get it. But yeah, that is the Cryonis Shrine. So now we are halfway through the Plateau Shrines. 2 down and 2 to go. And as again, we're going to wait until this text is off the screen, and then skip the cutscene.
Should I be talking more?
You can say something if you want to. Alright, so now we're going to go to the Stasis Shrine. This area is still very cold, so Link's going to take damage. However, by going near that campfire for just a little bit, it resets Link's heat timer. So instead of me taking damage every 10 seconds relative to when I spawn from the shrine, I'm going to take damage every 10 seconds relative from that campfire. And resetting Link's damage timer from the cold gives us just enough time to go through this entire section without healing, if done correctly. Basically, I have 60 seconds to make it from here to the next area that isn't cold. And then we're at the top of this hill, we can just shield surf all the way down. How shield durability works, this shield can take about 4 hits. So if I step on a rough ground, a rough surface 4 times, it'll shatter. However, on snowy surfaces and sandy surfaces, shields do not deplete any durability. Oops. Ooh, that is a really bad autosave. Okay. Well, we will continue on then. Normally I would want to reset my file, but I don't have an autosave that's anywhere close to here, so we'll just continue on. I would normally do a fall damage negation glitch here too, but I don't have my shield to do it. So we're just gonna do this the sort of normal way. Just slide down here, and here's the shrine. Alright, so this is the Stasis Shrine. The Stasis rune is definitely the more useful rune for speedruns. This rune allows you to freeze objects in midair and then apply force to them, and then after they are unfrozen, they will fly relative to the direction that you hit them and the amount of impact you gave them. Basically, we can hit them a bunch and make them go flying in the objects. And we're going to be using this rune a ton. If you've seen speedruns of this game, or even seen like funny clips of this game on like Twitter or YouTube or whatever, you've probably seen some shenanigans with Stasis Rune, where people can make Link fly really fast, make him ride objects like trees and rocks. We're going to do all of that. So once we get out of the shrine, the game really opens up in terms of movements. So we're going to freeze that gear, freeze this rock. I don't have, oh. I don't have a shield. Okay. So we're gonna grab that sledgehammer, hit this once, and let it go flying. And that is the whole shrine. Like I said, they're all very short. And we have incurred tons of damage from being in the cold, but luckily every shrine kills you once you're done. So all that damage you took is now gone, basically. Alright. So now we have the fourth and final shrine, the bomb shrine, coming up. As I mentioned before, this rune that I just got, the status rune, is so useful. We're actually going to use it to go really fast to our destination. So I'm going to come over here,
Oh no, this part.
stasis the rock, hit a bunch, then hit an arrow, grab the arrow, jump on the rock, and it's going to go flying. And we are not done yet. We're still not quite at the bomb shrine. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere, but luckily we have trees. So we're gonna go towards this specific tree, line link up an angle, hit the tree once, hit it again. Oops. One day. Eventually. Freeze the tree, then we're gonna hit a bunch. Ooh, not quite. So those trees are a little tricky to ride. Ideally, it would have taken us to the shrine we're going to. However, those trees are sort of on an incline, and so you cannot hit them as easily as, say, a rock. Basically, I grabbed the tree to ride it, but then I fell off. And the reason that happens is because you have to basically hold the object you're going to ride for about a second or a second and a half, and then you can stay on it. If you haven't been on it for too long, then the game will sort of just pop you off what you're riding once it takes off. So you have to be quick. You need very quick inputs to ride objects with the stasis rune. But in any case, here we are at the bomb shrine. There are tons of ways to do this shrine in a speedrun. Basically, this shrine has moving platforms, and you can sort of try and go as fast as possible to take advantage of those platforms, or if they're in a bad location for you being too slow, then you have to do things a little differently. So this shrine is always sort of a toss-up in sort of terms of how it goes. You know, all the other shrines up till now, they're pretty straightforward. But this one is a little less so because of how tight the timing is due to the moving platforms. Basically, from the time I entered the shrine, till now, there's been platforms that have been moving. And so we'll see where they are. So we're gonna bomb that. Come over here, drop a bomb, do that. Alright. Alright. I would be able to jump over there, however I don't have my shield, so I can't shield jump. Not having the shield on the Great Plateau is a little difficult because you can't do shield jumps, but it's okay. By throwing the bombs at precise spots, we can just move on our merry way. The way this shrine is designed, you're supposed to throw a bomb in a cannon and then like shoot the cannon at those rocks. But we can just throw a bomb precisely and it gets the same effect. But alright, after that we are done. We now have our 4 shrines done, our 4 runes, and we are ready to go beat the game, basically. So now that we've done these shrines, the game's going to let us get the paraglider, and that really opens up what we can do a lot. So first we have this cutscene. If you put the camera in the sky before this cutscene starts, the camera freaks out momentarily, which is always fun to do. Whenever you have moments where basically you're just standing around not doing anything, you sort of find anything to make it slightly more interesting, so I tilt the camera a little bit. Alright, so now we have a bit of a tricky route to the Temple of Time, which is where we're going to get the paraglider. We're going to take this bomb, just throw it there. There's a Guardian here, we're going to shoot it. And basically the first time you see a Guardian on the Great Plateau, the game is a cutscene, basically showing you what they are and what they're capable of. And we're just going to skip that by shooting it. Now we're going to use an amiibo. We have a couple amiibo. Okay. Good. So this is amiibo gives me fish. I want a specific fish. So I mentioned earlier how I grabbed a beetle for an attack potion. We still haven't made that potion yet, but we're going to use it real soon. I need some other ingredients for that potion other than the beetle, and included in that recipe are 2 attack fish. So various fish and bugs and items that can give you attack buffs in a potion. And so that's what we get, those fish. Ooh, not quite. Alright. This is going to take us a little far, but not quite as far as I wanted. But it's still good. Alright. So ideally that tree would have taken me to the top of the Temple of Time. However, it's not the end of the world. We actually get a small time saver. So when you enter this cutscene right here that I'm about to enter, it fades to white, and then it triggers the cutscene. And for some reason, that fade to white is like 2 seconds longer if you have text on the screen. And so, TLDR, if you ride the tree to the top of the Temple of Time, then you have text on the screen. But we didn't, so trade-offs. Anyways, here is the paraglider. So this lets us fly anywhere. We can get up the plateau. We can go anywhere we want. The way that this game was developed, basically the developers allow you to beat the game whenever you want, as long as the player thinks they're strong enough. So in the terms of the developers' eyes, it's sort of like a rite of passage. They expect most players to attempt and try and beat the game at some point when they're not strong enough, because the game has so many boss fights and terrible things for you in the castle if you try to go there early. And so they expect you to sort of try and fail and come back when you're ready. And so, because of that design, we can go at the start, because we're ready. I'm ready. Ooh. Do I have a save file? I do, okay.
I get stressed every single time you do a stasis. I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, it's you either get a great ride or a great impact and failure on Link. So what I'm attempting to do is a stasis jump. Basically, by building up enough speed to hit an object and then jumping right when it releases, you can make Link fly really far. Right now, we're trying to get off the Great Plateau. And the fastest way to do that is with these stasis jumps. So that's why we're doing it now. Alright, like that. So now we're going flying. I'm going to change my equips to the amiibo rune there because we're about to use the amiibo rune. Also, because we're flying so fast, the game is struggling and straining to stream all the assets and high-quality versions of the areas we're about to go to as fast as possible. So, when you do these stasis launches, it's common that the game will pause for a little bit to catch up and load some things. And so, when you know the game is going to pause like that to load stuff, you basically can sort of take that into account and do some equipping you would normally do during downtime. And so you can take advantage of the game loading and do your equipping there, and sort of alleviates that issue. So now we're on our way to Howard Castle. You can see it in the distance. It's that great big thing with pink haze surrounding it. This is a horse, Epona. By using one of the Twilight Princess Link amiibos, you can spawn this horse. It goes very fast. It has a lot of trust into Link, so it's not going to be wobbly or doesn't be fast or anything like a wild horse. If you don't have an amiibo to spawn this horse, you would just use the stasis trick and just fly all across Harrow Field, which is kind of funny, but it's a little trickier and a little slower, so we're just going to use the horse. Most people who run this game don't use amiibo, so I feel it's important to mention those alternative strategies. Only a small amount of people actually use amiibo. You can basically do with or without. There's different leaderboards for each. I like to use amiibo for 90%, which is the category I'm doing now, because 90% for me is just beat the game as fast as possible, and so that's what we're doing. Doing whatever it takes. So this is a Guardian. He's got a nice laser. It goes shoot, shoot. Oh, I need to heal. Not for the laser, but it's a good reminder. Alright. So we need 3 hearts. We're about to take a bit of a hit. I need these runes also. This is Castle Town. This is a town that Ganon destroyed. It's right outside the castle, and we're about to enter with a little bit of stasis magic. So we're gonna hide here, dash, place a bomb in a precise angle by lining up our camera. Then we're gonna come over here, yeah, like this. Stasis it, get our bomb ready, hit it. Then we're gonna explode the bomb and go flying. And here we are. And welcome to Harrow Castle. That trick is great. So I mentioned earlier how weird text boxes can make loads faster or shorter. Because I entered that dining hall area in the castle, it made text appear in the bottom left that said dining hall. And that text helps makes the area I'm in load a little faster. Right now, basically, the game is loading the cutscenes and stuff, but now it's done. The trade-off of loading this area a little faster with the text trick is that it makes a campfire all the way over there not load. And we want that campfire to be loaded so that we can do some cooking later. So we have to basically exit the dining hall right after we enter to get that fire loaded. So inside Harrow Castle, there's tons of really good armor and weapons. We're basically going to raid the castle, get some good stuff, and then beat the final boss. There's a really powerful sword here. It has 48 power, way more powerful than anything we could have gotten on the Great Plateau or the areas leading up to this. Next, we're going to jump here, place a bomb here, and run away. And the bomb is going to serve as a distraction. When enemies see bombs, they start kicking them because they're scared of them. They sort of have to try to shoot them away. But if you hide a bomb in a correct spot, it'll basically distract the enemy for a long time. Because if they kick it into a corner, they're going to keep kicking it, trying to get rid of the bomb. And so that enemy I threw the bomb at is still just kicking it, trying to get rid of it. And so while it's distracted, we're going to go in here, get some items. These boxes spawn arrows. They spawn random amounts and type of arrows. And we actually got a pretty good bomb drop. Ideally, I have about 25 arrows going into the final boss rush. I have like 23-ish or so not perfect, but a good amount. So now we're here. Oh, he actually moved, or whatever. He's gonna see our bomb and attack it. And now we did a sneak strike. So sneak strikes are a mechanic in this game where basically if an enemy doesn't see you and you hit them from the back, you can do a really powerful attack. Sneak strikes have a 8 times damage multiplier. So basically any attack you do will be 8 times more powerful when you do that. So it has a fair chance of just knocking the enemy out altogether. Additionally, when an enemy dies or is at half health and gets hit, they drop their weapons. So it's a good way to loot useful armor. Alright. We're going to do some cooking. We're going to take the beetle, some fish, razor shroom, and a moblin guts. Cook it in a pot, and make it a nice potion. Next, we're going to hit these enemies. This is kind of scary. Ooh. Okay. So those enemies are pretty close in the corner. The reason I'm a little fearful there is because if those enemies are too close in the corner when I hit them, their enemies will fall out of bounds, and I won't be able to grab them anymore. So I need that to not happen so I can get their weapons. Alright, so now we have these boxes. This is from a Guardian amiibo. We're going to hit them a little bit. This. Then shoot an arrow at it. Turn the camera up. And... Ooh, that didn't work quite right. Let's try again. Alright, so the plan is we're going to fly really high. Let's see if we can do that again.
I believe in you.
Thank you. I need a sledgehammer. Ooh. Not quite working out right. But one more time. Yikes. Alright. I have some backup amiibo. There we go. This trick can be a little awkward to execute. Oh wait, there's this. Okay. Let's try it. Oh wait, I can't get behind it. Well, this is not going well at all. Oop. Okay, you know what? I have an alternate technique. Backup strats. Instead of doing it over there, we're gonna bring it over here and give it a bit of an angle. Okay. Okay. So this trick is very awkward. It can sometimes damage you if the box and you aren't positioned correctly. We're gonna try that again.
You're doing really good so far.
Thank you.
I believe in you. Never give up.
Alright, so we have to do a little bit of cooking again. The game will autosave periodically, and the autosave there is always going to be before you cooked the potion and killed the moblins. Good. These enemies cannot attack me before I cook. And the game actually disallows you from cooking if you This is awkward, 1 second. Alright, one of them saw me. I need to loot this guy. Ow. So that was very awkward. I needed to loot the one enemy to take their sword, and the other one was trying to kill me. Not too much I can do there, other than just pray.
Be strong.
Alright. Oh, we got a different autosave. Awesome. Alright, let's try this once more. I'm confident this will work. Shoot. Tower Castle is very tricky. There's a lot going on, and sometimes that all can go wrong.
Everyone in chat is saying moo right now.
It's saying what?
They're saying moo.
Oh.
Like, and just
potion. That's one step. I did not get the sword. Okay. Oh my goodness. Everything is going wrong. It's really weird. Like, if you sneak strike the enemy at an angle, they won't drop their sword. And that's happened so many times now. Darn. Okay. You know what? Do this. So I have to crouch towards these moblins. And I'm pressing the crouch button and nothing's happening. Very strange. So yeah, just me. I'm gonna be very patient this time. Okay, Razor Shroom. Crouch. There we go. This goes here. Alright, we got the potion. The enemy is dead. Everything is alright. Oh gosh. We'll go with that. All right. Ideally, that would have shot us up to the skies, but this works too. We'll just climb our way to Ganon.
We got a $10 donation from
Ooh.
Luna Sorcery saying, "I believe in you, Orca. You got this."
Thank you. All right. We are almost to Ganon. We're doing a bit of a jog now. Ooh. Yeah, let's not do that. And oh, alright. So Link will walk a little faster if he's strafing. So by holding the target button when he's out of stamina, you can walk to your destination a little faster than just having him sort of limp weakly. Link gets very tired when he runs out of stamina. He's just invincible otherwise. Alright. And here we are. Ganon Sanctum. I'm gonna toss this. Or maybe not. Alright. So, welcome to Ganon Sanctum. So, like I mentioned, this game is designed that you can beat it from the start of the game, or you can come back later once you've completed a bunch of dungeons. How that design comes into play is that every dungeon boss is here if you do not fight them in their respective dungeon. So we're about to go fight a ton of bosses. Namely Wind-Blight Ganon, Water-Blight Ganon, Fire-Blight Ganon, Thunder-Blight Ganon, and Calamity Ganon. So we have an epic boss rush going on, and I have unique strategies for every specific boss and phase of the boss fight. This boss fight rush is a little intense if I die in any of them, which kind of happens if I get hit once. I only have 3 hearts. If I die once, I start back at the very beginning of the boss rush, so it's a little intense. Luckily, some of the bosses are a little bit of a pushover. This boss I'm fighting right now, he has several attacks, and none of them will one-shot me, so I can just heal. Basically, how this game works is a mechanic called one-shot protection, where if you get hit at full health by something that's super powerful, the game will put you down to 1/4 of a heart. And basically, that one-shot protection makes it where most of these early bosses are sort of pushovers. However, the later bosses, like Fire Blight and Thunder Blight, are not as simple. Because of how elemental damage works in this game, basically, Fire Blight and Thunder Blight do fire-based and thunder-based attacks, and when those hit you, you take the you go down to a quarter of a heart for damage calculations, but then because of the elemental bonus, it depletes your health fully. It's a weird quirk. So we're gonna place a bomb here. We're gonna use that a little later on. As mentioned before, headshots do double damage to these bosses, so we can get tons of damage on them. This bow I have right now is a 50 power bow, and then times 2, that's 100. And then because of the attack potion I'm wearing, it's boosted to 50%. So every headshot basically does like 150%, or 150 damage basically, which is quite nice. This is Fire Blight. We're going to start by spinning on him a little bit, and then releasing the sword. He'll crumble to the ground. With this one-handed sword here, it's almost broken, but not quite, and it'll shatter and then end the phase, and that's that phase. As mentioned, these boss fights are going to get a little scarier as they continue, because Fire Blight now has fire-based damage, and one hit with this sword will kill me instantly. You can also retweet to die instantly. Anyways, here's the sword. He's going to spawn in a random direction over here, and the bomb I placed was sucked up by his fire shield, and then that can ignite it. We can hit him. So we don't need this sword anymore. We're going to toss it and grab this one. Alright. And that is Fire Blight. So now we have Thunder Blight. He is definitely the hardest of the Blights, both in this boss rush and casually. So this enemy has a shield. It protects it from all hits, unless you shatter it, of course, like that. And his shield has one unique weakness, and that is boomerangs. For whatever reason, throwing a boomerang at his shield will shatter it. No other weapons have this property on this boss other than boomerangs. Whether it's a large boomerang, a boomerang made out of skulls and bones, or this boomerang right here, they all have the same effect and shatter the shield, which is very useful. Alright, that is our 4th boss fight in a row, but we are not done yet. We have yet to even see the true terror of Hyrule. This is Calamity Ganon. He's a huge spider mech thing. Every attack from him kills us in one hit. It's great. So this is a mechanic called Flurry Rushing. Basically, by dodging at the last moment, you can initiate a sort of bullet time effect with bosses and enemies. It's giving me a really weird pattern. I want him to go on the wall. Alright. Okay. I need to grab some items over here. Okay. Things are very scary right now. I'm gonna heal. I get hit by some fire. Alright. Good. So I need that sword in the wall. We're gonna grab it in a moment. I need to hit him with 2 arrows. 2 bomb arrows so make him jump off the wall. He is most dangerous at the wall because he shoots many attacks at you that can only be parried. He sort of has the leg up and offense there, so your best offense is defense, so whatever. So right now I'm focusing on headshots, trying to get all of them as I can. I'm gonna go on the wall. When he gets close to the wall like that, ooh. Okay, good. when he gets close to the wall, he'll basically climb it immediately. That's what I meant to say. Alright, this boss phase is almost done. Okay. Let's see what he does. Ooh, that twister. That is scary. I need this shield. Okay. So these are attacks that cannot be parried, and if they hit me, I die in one hit. So a little scary. Okay. So we're out of arrows, so the only attacks we can do are melee attacks. But flare rushes weren't good enough. Alright. So now we have the final phase. Good. This phase is a stun lock. By slamming the sword down as he gets up, you can basically rinse and repeat. He'll be stunned over and over. It's a little hard to explain because I'm going to be managing my resources, so give me a moment to execute this. Okay. Made a little bit of a mistake. So he's close to the wall, he's gonna go on the wall right after this. Which is a little scary. Or he'll just laser. Okay. We need to do the stun lock again. Alright. And that is Calamity Ganon. Alright, so now that we're done with that fight, we have one more boss fight, the scary Beast Ganon. This is actually nothing to fear. So, this boss fight is not really included in the boss rush. If I were to die here, it would spawn me here. So not at the start of the boss rush. So we're good, we're safe. You know, any of those other bosses I just did, if I died in them, I'd have to redo all of them. This is not the case. Additionally, this boss fight is basically a 2.5 minute long cutscene. No matter what you do, it's always going to be 2.5 minutes long. Ganon is basically going to be hit 4 times, and he has like timers that basically decide when I can hit him. So it's sort of a waiting game. Basically, he's going to laser and then wait like he is now. He's going to turn, he's going to be vulnerable. That's basically his whole thing. Oops, I missed one. So, this is the light bow I have right now, as Zelda gave it to me. This bow has arrows that shoot immediately and have no arc. So, they fly very fast and just go straight where he shoots them. It's very useful. The game instructs you to use the light arrows in this boss fight. There's actually a couple other ways you can attack Ganon here. You can actually use the beams from the Master Sword. If you were to get the Master Sword in a full health, you can technically throw sword beams at Ganon. But you have to be really close to him because they have a really small reach, which is fun. But we don't have that. We kind of went fast. Alright, so this is the final laser shot. We're going to jump off the horse, shoot the arrow in slow motion, and hit his belly. And so this shot is a little different. So we've done all the shots to Ganon's body. Now we have to hit his eye. basically, he's gonna open his eye a little bit, and if I hit it in slow motion, he's done for. And so time is on when the arrow hits his eye. Time. Thank you, thank you. Alright, and that was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Thank you.
Excellent work.
This game is very fun to speedrun, has tons of cool tricks for all categories, whether you're beating the game as fast as possible or doing all the dungeons. So would recommend. There's a really good community of members playing this game. And yeah, that's about all I have to say.
That was awesome.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Orcastraw, for that great run of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Next up, we got Metroid Zero Mission by Hey Tall Man, any % normal. Be back in a few more minutes, all right, guys?